The Warriors are shutting this down. They're telling teams, they're not even talking to teams actually. One player is untouchable. Who is it? We're going to break it down for you on this episode of Warriors Digest. In addition, potentially there's opportunity for them to trade some of the core players. Who will they trade and why will they trade? We have all that and more on this episode with Randy Silver. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of our Warriors Digest breaking news on a daily basis. Let's get into it. Jonathan Kuminga, untouchable. Was that who you thought? Maybe not. Ramona Shelburne, the ESPN reporter, said, nope, Warriors aren't even having any conversations about Kuminga being traded. Maybe you thought it was this guy right here, Curry. It could be. But she went on a radio show in the Bay Area and said Kuminga is untouchable. Looking at all your comments, which I respond to, looking at Twitter, all the message boards, Reddit, we all agree with this. Kuminga is untouchable. Look at what he did this season. Took off. He's still only 21. He's so young. A couple people say he hasn't his potential. Give up on him. No, do not give up on him. Kuminga is considered untouchable, again, as I said, by Ramon Shelburne. They'll do everything they can to keep him. They don't even want to talk about him. Not even a part of the conversations, which I love. This means they're committed to him. Again, how do we bridge the now and the future? He proved he can be here now. He needs to work on some things that we've broken down in other videos. But he is someone that you're going to want for your team for the next decade and a half. If he were to hit the free market, potentially he could fetch up to $30 million per year in the open market. That would be the second highest player on the Warriors. Obviously, right now, he's nowhere near that. Where is he? He's making only $6 million this upcoming year. $7 million. He just made $6 million. He's now able to sign a contract extension as well. So we have him for one more year, and then he's a restricted free agent at $10 million. So the question is, do we let it play out and see what happens if someone tries to match him for 15, 20, 30 million, and then potentially we have to go match that offer? Or B, do we try to get him at a cheaper deal now for longer, 4 or 5 years, and keep that in the house? Something that I think the Warriors brass are going to want to work on. Comment your thoughts. What do you think as well? But I think they're going to want to keep him in here, sign him this summer, so that way you have him locked up, and it's not something you have as a headache moving forward. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, look at his stats this year. 16 points, 4 rebounds, almost 5, 3.6 defensive rebounds. So he's doing this part on defense. What he can do better at is the three-point shooting. It went down from 37% to 32%. As we know, when you are around Steph, you need to be able to space the floor and shoot. He's lengthy. He's athletic. He can play defense. There's absolutely no reason why the Warriors wouldn't want to keep him. Yes, there's a conversation. Do you trade him if there's a star available? But no, you got to at some point look to the future. And he's that guy. He proved when he came in to start for Clay, he can be that guy. Especially when, say, Steph wasn't playing, he was on the ball. He was our most athletic player on the floor. He was able to drive really well. He was able to get in a fast break. How many slam dunks did he have? Alley-oops. And he's only going to get better. He's going to be an all-star, I say, in the next 2 to 3 years. Depending, obviously, how much of the ball he gets. But we've seen other people make a jump, like Maxey with Philadelphia. Embiid went out. He had the ball more. Boom. All-star. And he deserved it. Look how he played in the playoffs as well. He's that type of player. When you get the reps, he will have the opportunity to do it. And that is why, again, she said Jonathan Kuminga is untouchable. No team is going to be able to go for him, and I agree with that. Let me know what you agree with. Now, however, there are players who are touchable. Second part is a big trade coming. In the same interview, Shelburne said they have to get creative. They're going to have to work hard to make a trade because of the salary cap situation. There's no way she sees a world where they trot back the same team and hopefully it goes better. So again, what is that team and how do we do it? Right now, our committed salary is at $174 million. When you add Chris Paul's $30 million non-guaranteed, that puts you at $204. If you have to sign Klay Thompson for another, say, $10 to $20 million, puts you around $215, $230 million, way over the second apron, which is not where Joe Lacob wants to be. And he's talked about that. If we're not competing for championships and even making the playoffs, he doesn't want to be there. So what are some of the options that they have? June 28th is when they can make that decision on Chris Paul. $30 million, bring him back. If not, boom. And we talked about some of the draft prospects they brought in are shooting guards or point guards. So maybe this person comes in to be a backup point guard. You also have some on the roster already who played last year. Lester Quiones, he's out of contract. Potentially he comes through. Other than that, GP2, but he's not really a ball handling point guard, and he's on a option contract. CP3, we just talked about. Maybe you go in free agency and get one. But the question is Chris Paul worth $30 million? My answer is no. That's a lot of money to pay for a backup point guard when you have many other holes, as we talked about, shooters around Steph, big men inside. Another option is veteran big man Kevon Looney, which Warriors land we all love, but we know his role diminished this year with the emergence of Trace Jackson Davis. But he's a consummate pro. I personally think he should get his jersey up in the rafters. Been with the Warriors for all the championships, and what he's done in those championships has just been massive. He's under contract for $8 million next season, with only $3 million guaranteed if he's not signed basically July 1st. So the question is, do you let him go and you eat that and you have $5 million where you can go spend somewhere else? Do you think he's a good backup? Again, he's not the tallest, and we always talk about in this video, you all talk about in the comments, we need a 7-foot center, a true center. Looney does a great job at the pick and roll. He does a good job at getting some rebounds, but he's not the biggest shot blocker. He's not the most athletic, and it hurts us sometimes. So do we need a typical big man in there to be successful? And of course, the biggest elephant in the room, Klay Thompson. Is he going to sign with the Warriors? Is he going to go somewhere else? He turned down a 2-year, $48 million before the start of this past season, $24 million per year. Now he's out there. In other videos we have on the channel, you can take a look. We talked about potentially the Magic have big interest. They can use a three-point shooter. Dallas potentially could use him. Lakers, his hometown team, grew up there. His dad played there. So there's options for Klay Thompson. Does he take a team-friendly discount with us? Does he not? It's the biggest elephant in the room. My opinion, I hope Klay is a lifer. 13 years with the team. Let's make it 15. Not going to be a starter. Come off the bench. 3-point. Play some defense. And retire a Warrior. Be that legend. It will not tarnish his career if he doesn't. Understanding we've seen other players like that. Paul Pierce left the Celtics. He's still a Celtics legend. Kevin Garnett left Minnesota. Became a Celtics legend. D. Wade left Miami. Is still a Miami legend. Obviously, Michael Jordan went to go play for the Wizards. So the opportunity is there for him to go somewhere else, and it won't ruin his legend. Hopefully, if he goes somewhere else, he doesn't get a ring because it's the Warriors. But I would love for him to be a Warriors legend. So comment your thoughts. Do you think that's good or that's bad? But again, it all comes down to right here. When we look at our salary cap, $174 million committed. Potentially, you lose Chris Paul, Klay Thompson. You have some space in the prospects they bring in. And lastly, the odds of us having a first-round pick are small. It has to be in the top 4 or we lose it to Portland, and we have less than a 1% chance of that happening. So the only pick will be in the second round, 56, unless we make some trades and whatnot, which we've talked about in other videos. So the news of the day, Kuminga is untouchable, and the opportunity is there for Warriors to make some trade, and they got to make some decisions. And it's going to start coming out. We're now in the middle of May. NBA Finals end mid-June, early June. Then you obviously have the draft coming up and then the free agency period. So things are cooking up, and you're going to want to stay here and subscribe to Warriors Digest so you don't miss anything. Comment your thoughts, and we'll see you on the next video.